Hey, what's going on everybody? Alex here with Freedom Mowers. Hope you all are having a good one. Today we have a backpack blower on the bench. It is a Ryobi, and basically what's going on with it right now is that it will start and run, but as soon as you try to throttle it up, it starts to bog and it will not get up to speed. So this is what I've got right here. It is a Ryobi BP42. 185 mile an hour, 510 CFM, which is pretty good amount of power, especially for a homeowner unit. This came from a buddy of mine. He actually gave this to me. He purchased this a while back from a pawn shop. I guess they originally had a price of $120, and then they marked it down to $60, as is, will not run. Not really sure why they said it wouldn't run. I'm assuming they mean it wouldn't run properly, because it cranked right up for me, but it will not throttle up. So other than that, we'll take it outside real quick. We'll give it a start. I'll show you guys what's going on with it, and then we'll just jump right into it and see if we can't get this fixed pretty easily. All right, hopefully you guys can see pretty well. First thing I did was drain the old gas out because I don't know what they had in there. I put some fresh 50-to-1 mix in here, and I did check the filter. I'll show you guys. It was a little dirty, but I don't quite think that's the culprit. So let's go ahead and start this up. Just put it in start. Give it a few primes. The off switch, you just have to depress to turn it off. It stays in the run, and we should be good there. Take it off choke now. We'll let it warm up for a minute. So you guys can see, if you hold it down full throttle there, it starts to bog, and if you just keep holding it, it will it'll just stall out. I mean, I had it running earlier. It'll sit there and idle. It would idle for at least 4 or 5 minutes. I didn't have any issues with that. It's just with throttling up. So let's take it back in the shop real quick. We'll look at a couple things and see if we can just make some adjustments on here and hopefully fix the problem. Alright, so as you guys saw, the recoil is kind of sticking on this. I'll work on that. Hopefully, if we can get this thing running right, I'll do that later on. Some other things to check. I did check right off the bat to make sure that the inlet line, the feed line going to the carburetor, still had the filter on it, and it does. You can pull that up and take a look at it. So sometimes what happens is that filter will fall off and you'll end up just drawing up debris into your carburetor, and it can clog it up. But the filter looked good on here. The fuel lines were still good and flexible. So I'm not really thinking it's quite a clogged carb yet. It very well could be. Could be the fuel they were using. We'll go ahead and pop this air box off on here. And you can use a flathead, or this one's a T25 on this particular model. But this one just has 2 screws. And as you guys can see, that filter is pretty yucky, but it looks more oily and gassy than anything. And I can still see light through there really well. So I'll try to blow that out and clean it up real good. Like I said, I don't think the filter is the issue on here. What I'd like to do is, I did do a little research because I wasn't sure. You know, some machines, like basically the symptoms it's having is either carburetor adjustment issues, you know, fuel issues. It could also be a clogged spark arrestor sometimes in these exhausts. But I did do a little research because I was looking at this exhaust on here and it looks really clean. Normally if you have a clogged spark arrestor, it's usually pretty oily and dirty in that area in general. But this particular model does not have a spark arrestor. So what we're gonna do is try and make some adjustments on the carburetor on the high side and the low side. I'm gonna start with the high side because that's where we're getting the bogging at. It will run at an idle, which is usually your low end mixture screw, and it seems like it has good throttle response, just barely bumping it. It's just when we get in the higher RPM range is where it bogs. So on most of the time on your carburetors, you have, you know, your two adjustment screws, your high and your low. Usually your high is towards the airbox side, and then your low is usually on the closest to the engine side. So now that we got the air filter off from here, I'll get my adjustment tools, I'll show you guys, and we'll take this back outside and see if we can make a difference on it. Alright, so most of the time on these two-stroke carburetors you are going to need special tools for adjustment. I got these a long time ago off Amazon. They'd give you, I think it's like a 10 or a 12 pack, and it covers most of the adjustment tools, which are nice to have if you have multiple pieces of equipment and you need to make some adjustments. This particular one that fits this is the single D. So what we'll do is we'll go ahead and crank it up. We'll see if we're having the same issue as before without the air filter on it, and then if we do, we'll go ahead and start adjusting the high side. And what I want to do is to open up the fuel to that, so we will go counterclockwise. I'll probably go a quarter of a turn and see if that makes a difference, and then if we need to keep adjusting from there, you know, we'll either open or close it, and we'll just kind of take it from there. But you just want to make minor adjustments and kind of take note of you know, where your adjustments are, how far you're moving things. That way you can get it dialed in. So let's go ahead and crank it up. Should start, since we had it started before, without choking it. Alright, well, you guys got to see it firsthand. I'll go ahead and show you what I was talking about earlier. We just had, if you guys can see, there's just the two adjustment screws, and we ended up going, I think, about a half a turn with that one. What I wanted to do was to make sure we were getting the fuel flow we needed to. You could hear it basically hit max RPM, and then I just went a little bit farther to go a little on the rich side. That way, if you're running it just a tiny bit rich, It helps keep the engine a little bit cooler. And so yeah, that pretty much ran the way that it should right there. I might make some minor adjustments. You definitely want to have the air filter and the air box back on to make your final adjustments, and then to let the engine cool back down completely, and then do a cold start and try everything again to make sure it's working properly. So let's take it back in the shop real quick and see if there's anything else that we can think of to talk about, maybe what some of the issues you might have on your blower, and then we'll wrap it up. All right, so I am gonna finish up what I'm doing here, just cleaning out this air filter and getting everything back together, and then I will test it while it's warm, see if I need any more adjustments on here, and then later today I'll do a cold start on it and see if I can get the same results. And if I need to, I'll make some other adjustments. Now, if you make these adjustments and you're still getting, you know, erratic behavior, basically, if you know your machine is surging and stuff like that, you know, it might be time to get into the carburetor and either do a rebuild on it or just to buy an aftermarket carburetor online. We didn't have to do that today, fortunately. So you know, and obviously if that doesn't fix it, you could have other issues like like seals that are leaking and stuff like that. But thankfully this was a pretty easy fix on this unit. Hopefully this helps somebody out. I think that's pretty much it. We just basically checked over a few things on it, made a high side adjustment on the air mixture screw, and this unit seems to be running pretty good. But I'll get it figured out and make sure it's totally dialed in later. But I hope this helps you all out, and hopefully, I mean, you can apply this to most any blower, whether it's just a handheld blower or a backpack blower. And if you guys check out some of my other videos, I do some in-depth carburetor cleaning on two-stroke equipment and fuel line replacement and stuff like that too, if you need to go that far. But I really appreciate you all tuning in, and I hope you have a great one. On that note, let freedom ring, let those small engines sing. I'll see you guys next time.